So you guys, we are going to go ahead and get started. And I just want to welcome everybody on tonight and give you a little bit of direction on how this kind of all came to be. So first and foremost, my name is Kelly Lepsha, physical therapist by background, and I'm going to be your moderator for our discussion that we're going to have tonight. And I'm going to introduce each one of our panelists so you know who everybody is. And let me tell you, you're in the presence of some amazing individuals with some pretty incredible accolades. But the company LifeVantage, I hope you've already seen information about the company. You've seen an overview. You have a nice solid introduction. But many people at this point then have questions. And it's very hard in everybody's schedules to be able to coordinate, answer questions. And I know many of you have the same questions. So if you haven't seen an overview, ask the person that invited you to please get a hold of, there's a brand new company overview that is absolutely incredible. And if you want to hang on and just listen, if you've really never seen anything about the company, you can hang on and listen, but you're probably really going to have no idea how to ask a question. So just hang tight. But those of you that have, we're going to start opening up with some of the most common questions. And then in the chat, I'll help answer other questions that you guys have, because many people in the wellness healthcare space, we're wondering, right? And we have questions, and this is a really great forum to allow many people to have an opportunity to ask questions from people that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. But I'm going to give you a quick overview of LifeVantage. LifeVantage is a publicly traded company that is pioneering the forefront of nutrigenomics through biohacking. We are changing this industry of supplementation and moving on to turning our own bodies into activating. So truly flipping switches inside each and every one of us to feel better and do more. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do some introductions, and then we will get rocking and rolling, everyone. So let me introduce you. I'm going to kind of go in order how I have them on my phone. All of you may have pictures in different quadrants on your screen. So if you can just do a quick wave so everybody knows who's who. I know your names are down there as well. But we're going to start with Dr. Brett Brimhall. Dr. Brett Brimhall has been married to Holly for 23 years, and they have 4 children ranging 20 all the way down to 12. He's been in clinical practice for 19 years and has been training in the healthcare providers all over the world since 1995. He and his father have pioneered the 6 steps to wellness. He's been part of teaching and creating nutritional supplements and chiropractic tools and techniques for years. You guys are in the presence of an amazing man, an amazing father, and actually a great mentor and leader. So Brett, it's just a privilege to have you on. And Brett is out in the Arizona Valley. So we're going to go over to Dr. Melody Gradarte next, and she's also out in the Arizona Valley. That's my alma mater, my home away from home. And you guys, listen to this, pretty impressive. A double board certified internist and obesity medicine specialist in Arizona. She was named one of Phoenix's top doctors in obesity medicine in 2017 and 2019. She's also certified in hyperbaric medicine, wound care, and medical aesthetics. She absolutely loves personalized medicine and equipping her patients with tools to stay healthy, as well as getting to root causes of their illnesses. She's been married for 22 years and has twins that are 17 years old. So you guys, I will tell you, right, like not only are all of these clinicians, but they're parents, they're amazing people, they support their community, and so much more. So next, let's go up to Dr. Lee Seward. Lee, so great to have you on. And he spent the majority of his career in animal health product research and development, and was involved in the development of such products as HeartGuard for dogs and cats, Equivaline for horses, and Eprenix for cattle. His background led him to become interested in nutrigenomics and what he calls comparative nutrigenomics. He's been married for 49 years. He's got like double on the rest of us. He's been married for 49 years next month. And him and his wife have a farm out in northern Colorado. They absolutely love the outdoors. And he's climbed his 17th 14er this summer. All right, you're going to have to explain that in a minute. I'm not sure about that. So welcome, Dr. Seward. And then last, I'm not going to talk tonight because I'm just going to be your kind of coordinator, but I'm going to introduce my amazing husband. So Dr. Arthur Lepsha is here with me. And Arthur is a physical therapist by background, specializing in the field of neurology and neurological disorders, specifically stroke, traumatic brain injury, and concussion patients for over the last 25 years. Really dedicated, turning the last 6 years into wellness and root cause. We have 4 incredible kids aging from 18 to 22, busy household.
16 to 22.
Sorry, 16. Well, she's 15. She'll be 16 already next month. Can't believe we'll have 4 drivers. It's crazy. In our fun, busy household. So, hey, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I really hope you enjoyed tonight. And I hope you can walk away with your questions answered, or that you just feel better and much more confident with what you have your hands on. So I'm going to start and ask you guys just your number one most common question that people come to you with. So maybe Dr. Brett, would you like to kind of start with just what is the what? And it could be one. We could have 3 or 4 common questions, but it might help people kind of get a feeling and understanding. And the rest of you guys, please be sure in the chat to speak up and write down the questions you may have.
Absolutely. So, hey, thanks, Kelly. And it's actually great to be amongst this group. And, how often do you find physical therapists, a chiropractor, a vet, and a medical clinician, an osteopath together really in the same place, same room, kind of sharing the same vision and passion. Each kind of come from different angles and from different backgrounds, but with the sole purpose of really helping other people. So just honored to be a part of this group and with each of you. So thank you for putting this together. I think 2 of the questions most common I get, one, being in the background in nutritional formulation and teaching for the last 25 years, people are always asking, well, why are these products different? Why are these products different? Why are they unique? Because I've had people literally, for years bring me products and want me to promote them or whatever else, because we utilize so many vitamins, minerals, and supplements, and my dad's created over 200 of them. Right. So why this one? Well, it started for me when I saw a young man who struggled drastically. It's like you flipped a switch in him. I worked with him every week for a year, and then he started a drink product made by this company that literally it's like you flipped the switch in him. Like all of a sudden, all the stuff that we'd been working with him on just started manifesting. And had I not seen that, I wouldn't have believed it. But the reason why these products are different is because they're answering a very fundamentally different question. Most of us are taking products or supplements because we're looking to basically get rid of a deficiency from our diet, or we're trying whatever, something like this. Whereas these products are designed to activate systems, right? So we're activating systems that address symptoms. People have symptoms because systems don't work correctly. So what this company has literally done, really by accident at the beginning, was they found out that there's this pathway in humans called NRF2, which is tied to nutrigenomics, well, nutrition affects genes. So the reason why these products are different is because they are designed to affect the end result of activating a gene inside the cell that activates a system like an assembly line to give you an end result. And that's truly, number one, why they're different. And so you can't get these somewhere place else. That's why there are patents on them. Just grateful to have them as tools and resources for me and my family and for my clinician and for my friends. And then the number 2 question would be really is on the product side, but literally the business side, right? Of why I've chose to do this as a business. Because as a clinician, people come to you, right, for answers when it comes to healthcare. So naturally recommend products was naturally easy, but to do the business of something, we all in business, physical therapy, vet, medical, we're all, our businesses helping people, and that's how we make money. But this business, at first for me, when I was looking at doing this via network marketing, which I thought I'd never do, I had to, the first thing is having a belief that the product was real. And the first thing I thought is, what kind of physician would I be if I didn't tell people about what I saw? That was for me, right? The second one would be, then how do I do this in a way that I truly feel is ethical and correct? Because number one, it wasn't about the product being real. I knew it was real, but it was then, okay, if you don't tell people about this, you're not living up to the oath you took. And so just those are 2 of the roadblocks I had to overcome. And there are questions that I commonly get.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brett. And you guys remember, he has a chiropractic clinic and a wellness clinic out in Arizona. So he's got a very busy practice and serves many people locally as all around as well. So I love that you've been in the field of nutrition and formulating for years, and you saw this, and that this is so different, right? And that's such a great question that everybody asks, what is so different and so special about these products? So thank you so much. So let's go over to Dr. Melody Rodarte, again out in Arizona. And again, just share a little bit about, maybe, you could say why LifeVantage, but in general, like some of the most common question that people ask you about either products or even the business.
So I first say thank you for putting this together. I think this is great. I think it's going to be well received. I know people who weren't able to, jump on. Hopefully the recording will work out, because I know there's so many people who want kind of that higher yield of a conversation, right? Those of us in healthcare want to ask a little bit different questions than the regular person might want to ask. So thank you for putting this together. What I love about this too is there are so many of us that are on this scientific advisory board for the company, because we have an incredible passion for what this company stands for. And I think when you think about the caliber of people that that come into this, we don't have a lot of extra time to do things. So it must be really, I think that's probably, I'll say that's one of my questions, is where do you find the time to do something like this? And I'm going to say it becomes super easy to fit into the nooks and the crannies, because it aligns with my value system. If it didn't align with my value system, I wouldn't take the time to research it. And then I feel like it's medical malpractice not to talk about these activators. I'm telling you honestly. So I think part of that what I get is, how do you fit this into your life, and how did you put this into your practice? I've been a part of the company for 6 years now. In the first 5 years, I could not do this as part of my main practice. So I get that question a lot. In the past year, I've opened my own practice. And so I don't feel like it's for sure is like, yes, it's not like I had a secret and I couldn't tell anybody. It's like, I can talk to people about this now, that there are ways of activating our body. Our bodies are incredible. So I think that's the first part that most people want to kind of talk to me about. And the second part is the why. Why did you look at this? And it's because someone told me it's on PubMed. I'm gonna be blank like that. I don't look up things unless I see them on PubMed. I mean, it started when I was doing wound care, because we would do high dose antioxidant IVs, and we would see that was in the era of 2002 to 2005. That was really mainstay treatment. We were seeing the issues that were going on. So 6 years ago, when someone said, I want to show you something, I'd be like, is it on PubMed? Because I'm not going to take the time to really look if it's not on PubMed. And so there are 16 articles for me to thumb through. I would have been happy with just one. So, now there's about 32 if you do an extended search. So those I think are the main two things questions that I get.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. And I think if you guys don't get it, right, when you're running your own practice, and I don't know if you're still like working separately and having your own practice, right? Are you doing both? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both. Running a family, right? Still having kids at home. I mean, it's like she said, you can't just decide, let me just do something, because you don't have time for extra. And it's a little bit like me, and you just fit it in when you can fit it in, and it becomes part of your life. It's not something in addition to your life. It's just part of your life. And I love that, to share it with everybody that, I come across. So thank you so much, Dr. Rodarte. So let's go up to Dr. Lee Sewers. So Lee, obviously a little bit different, coming from the veterinarian side and seeing animals, although such similarities, right? As we all love our four-legged friends. So share with everyone, for you, what is maybe the most common 1 or 2 questions that you get asked?
Well, thank you for having me, and that I'm flattered and really to be in such company with such accomplished and respected people in the health professions, and which leads me to mention that LifeVantage is amazing because of such a large number of health professionals that are involved with LifeVantage. I think Dr. Brett or Dr. Melody could probably help me out here, but I think it's well in excess of 1,200 now medical professionals that are actually participating in this business as distributors. And as far as questions, actually, they're kind of very similar to what you've already heard about. Dr. Brett mentioned the question about what's so different about these products, and he talked about why they're considered different, and it's the same for Pet Tandem, the product for dogs that's specifically formulated for dogs. But what I get asked a lot is, what about the information? Where's the data? Show me how this performs. Prove it. And it brings to light a couple of things. One is, first off, a lot of people in the health professions don't understand the regulatory differences between pharmaceuticals and so-called supplements or nutraceuticals, if you will. And there is a difference, but nutraceuticals, supplements are regulated products. And they are scrutinized heavily by a number of agencies, including the FDA. And they're regulated on a different premise, and that is they're regulated to make sure that they have what they say they have in them. They're regulated for quality. And the ingredients aren't claimed to have any therapeutic benefit and are generally considered to be safe. So we don't have to show therapeutic benefits, but obviously if you're going to sell a product, you've got to show some benefit to the product. And that's what LifeVantage has done. And that's one thing that I've really, actually why I joined, and that is the data. When I was shown the videos and the information about LifeVantage and what they were doing, I was absolutely blown away by the fact that this nutritional product, so-called supplement, if you will, at the time, had data on the branded product, not just the product for human, the NRF2 activator, but the product for dog called Pet Tandem. Actually peer-reviewed studies and actual scientific data on the branded product. Why do I say branded product? I'm not talking about studies done on 1,000 different ingredients that somebody might put together in a product. I'm talking about the actual product that is sold. And in the case of the product for dogs, that's an NRF2 activator, the information was published in a prestigious journal and was presented to a society that published it, the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology. And in that paper, basically what they found was that Pet Tandem reduced oxidative stress and the markers for oxidative stress, and produced an increase in one of the key enzymes at the cellular level, catalase, a significant increase in that enzyme in the dogs. And this struck me because I could think of virtually no other animal health nutraceutical or supplement that had actual data on the branded product. And if you look around, not just in animals, but in humans, you'll find the same is true for most human products that are presented in that area. So that is, but it goes further than that, because this whole idea of nutrigenomics, that is using nutrition, food, supplements to actually influence the genetic expression to achieve results that you want, is just, as Dr. Brimhall said, this is just cutting edge. I mean, just an amazing thing. And this is what drew me in, was that this is a leading edge company with leading edge science in an area that we are leading. And it's just an amazing experience. The next thing is that I get asked, and I think we all get asked, what have you seen? What have you seen from the use of the products? Well, I can tell you what I've seen and what other people have told me about, and that is an amazing increase in the attitude, activity, behavior of an animal. My dog, Sheila, who was in pretty poor shape when I discovered this, And it was just a dramatic turnaround in her overall health and her general attitude. And what I like to say is the joy of life returned to her. And we really know that we got a lot of extra time with a loyal part of our family because of this technology. And so I'm all in. This is an amazing thing, and I'll take it the rest of my life because, as Kelly mentioned, I've been climbing 14ers for the last few years, but 10 years ago I was not. So I feel better now than I did 10 years ago.
So Dr. Lee, 14ers, I'm assuming you mean mountains of 14,000 feet or higher.
Yeah, the 14,000 foot peaks in Colorado.
That is amazing and incredible that you are doing that and able to do that and have the vibrancy and energy and health.
At 37.
Yeah, I was going to say, at 55, it's just amazing. But I turn 75 this next month, so.
Oh, wow. Wow. Dr. Seward, before we leave you, let me just ask, I think a couple people have a question of, so Petandem is specifically formulated for dogs, but people have asked, what about other animals? What would you give them? Can you use Petandem or Protandim for other animals? And would you recommend it for other animals outside of dogs?
Well, first off, we don't have any specific studies in other animals, but if you look at the literature, you'll see that particularly with Protandim and Petandem, with the NRF2 activation, that whole mechanism and that cascade is pretty similar across all mammalian species and pretty much similar throughout the entire animal kingdom. So yes, these animals do suffer from oxidative stress, and oxidative stress is a major factor in their aging process and the appearance of certain things we associate with aging. So by reducing it with this pathway, benefits the animal. So it is widely used, particularly we've got lots of experience in horses, and we use the human formulation, Protandim NRF2, and we see the same kind of health benefits and the same kind of return to function in horses that we experience ourselves and that we see our dogs experiencing. So widely used in horses. I know it's been used, again, generally speaking, the human formulation in other species. I can't really, I mean, I've seen it in certain ruminants that it's been used and to some benefit. I give the dog formulation, the Petandem, to my cat. And so, yes.
Dr. Lee, when you said you've seen it in some ruminants.
Cattle, sheep, etc.
Just clarifying for those of us non-veterinary types.
Thank you for asking. I had no clue I was going to ask that question.
I had a clue, but I just want to clarify.
Yes, yes.
And Dr. Lee,
well, if you don't know, then you don't need to ask.
Yeah.
You don't have one.
One of the questions I've often been asked when it's coming to horses in particular or other large mammals is how much Protandim should you give them?
Yeah, well, that's a great question because, like I said, we don't have any studies, but we have a lot of experience, particularly in horses, and there is some guidelines that Dr. McCord, who was the person that actually formulated the Protandim NRF2, and of course that the same technology that's in Petandem, but he suggested that because I don't want to get into it, but the volume of distribution, et cetera, allows you to get by with a dose that you wouldn't think would be adequate. And I personally consider using just one a day as a maintenance dose. I have seen many horses that if you're trying to accomplish some specific objective in their health, that you want to go up. I have one horse that I give 3 a day, and I have one horse that I give 1 a day.
Excellent, excellent.
Nice.
Gosh, thank you so much.
And the one I give the 3 a day is a better horse for it.
Fantastic. Before we go over to Dr. Lepsha, one of the questions that popped up for Dr. Rodarte is somebody was asking, just to clarify the research that you were talking about on PubMed, if somebody were to go look it up and they went to pubmed.gov, what would they type in looking for the studies?
For the additional studies in particular.
It's just, there's an actual part where you can hit extended, and so then it'll pull up. It's just an extended search. That's what you would have to do.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, well, on to you, Dr. Arthur Lepsha. What would you say is one or two of the most common questions that comes across your way?
Well, what are ruminants? No. First and foremost, guys, to have you guys say you're honored to be here, oh my goodness. I sometimes have the pretender syndrome because I don't feel like I even belong in this room with these people. As a physical therapist, I am not a scientist on the same level as these folk. But I'm probably just as big a skeptic. And I wanted nothing to do with this initially. I didn't believe even in supplementation. I just was so, Western medical, traditional trained physical therapist. I thought good food was all we needed. So when I was forced to sit down and look at this and to find there was published research, as you said, Dr. Melody, that was absolutely huge for me. So the combination of all of that really just opened my mind to saying, okay, there's something much bigger here that I really have to dig in and look at. So, I mean, questions were asked is, what did you feel? I get that one a lot. And I guess, fortunately, I'm one of those people who actually did have a massive experience personally. So, I will, very clearly tell people this is an anecdote and I can't, say what it will or won't do for anybody else, but this was my experience. And, my children had similar and even more extreme experiences than I had initially. But I also talk about Kelly and the fact that Kelly understands the science and know it's working in her body, but she's like, I never really felt anything. And my mother didn't feel anything until 11 months in when she stopped taking the products and all of a sudden started feeling worse because she didn't realize she was feeling better. So that's probably a big one, Kelly, is that people ask me, what did you experience or feel? And then I think a lot of people truly just, as Dr. Brett's already alluded to, don't understand this whole difference between supplementation and activation. And I really then try to not only help them learn the difference, but also really talk about how in this process of activation, we can really help reset their bodies and balance that dis-ease, reestablish that homeostasis so their body has the ability to combat all of the overloads that it's being hit with that then lead to those symptoms that Dr. Brett had talked about earlier. So I'd say those are kind of two of the biggest things that have come my way.
Okay, and you guys, what might pair along with that, and whether it's Arthur or somebody else want to answer, one of the other questions that has come about is, I exercise well, I eat well, I sleep well, so why do I need something else? That's one of the big ones. So any of you guys want to take that question?
Really fast, I know that Dr. Nancy is trying to get on if you want to bring her up. So she just texted us.
Wonderful, wonderful, awesome. Melody, do you want to answer that, or Dr. Brett? Who wants to go?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Hey, I don't like going after you sometimes because you're just too eloquent. I've got to learn to be more eloquent.
You give me first crack. I got to let her have a chance.
I'll go. Then I'll say, we continue to do things in our life to have better health. So whether or not you're gonna feel it right now is not the important part. It's what are you trying to do to have longevity, to have vitality. That's the biggest thing that I go for. So when I looked at this, I have, knock on wood, I've been healthy. But at that time, my mom was a 2-time breast cancer survivor. My son had an autoimmune condition. I want to know what else was there to do to protect our genes, right? We know now that our genes can be turned on and off. And our nutrition, even though when we really try to do organic, we try to eat green and leafy vegetables and, grass-fed beef and all this, it's hard. I still go out to eat at times. I've taken an antibiotic a few times in my life. So to know that I've got something to continue to help activate my genes, to protect my mitochondria, to help my vitality, that's where you'll have to pry this out of my dead hands. Like, I will continue this. I didn't know whether or not I would feel anything, but I knew the science behind this. I wanted it in my body, just like me exercising and sleeping and meditating and praying and living a healthy life. It's just part of that for me. It's become part of my routine.
So Dr. Melody, that does lead to an interesting question that I've heard a few times, in that some people will then respond to me of, well, do I really need to take this forever?
We age. We're going to age until we die. So yes.
I often respond to people, well, are you going to keep eating? You know?
Oh my gosh. And maybe to piggyback on that, the next question that really is in the same line is—
Should we introduce Nancy?
Yes, in just one moment. Thank you. Is there an age? Like, when should someone start these products? Is there an age optimally? Like, oh, I'm only 30, I'm only 40, I don't have age-related issues yet. So, you know, obviously from already hearing many of you talk, it sounds like everybody needs this, but what would you answer to the question?
I'll take one of these, and here's, because for me personally, guys, like, I didn't have an experience with the products, right? I've been taking stuff my whole life because my dad was a formulator. And it was because I wanted it. I don't want to have to ever need these things. I want it, right? And so there's tons of things that go on in our world all the time that we cannot control. My own mom, she died in her early 60s. Her mom was 97, her dad was 93. She had the genetics of longevity, but she was exposed to things that we didn't even know was around and was damaging her genes. So I truly believe, like, once you understand what this is, like, I don't exercise because I like it. I don't even brush my teeth because I love it, right? But I do think, because I love what you said, Dr. Lee, I want to have better activity. I want to have a better attitude, and I want to have the best behavior, right? And so truly, this is part of my health strategy. One of the biggest things we need to change, in my opinion, in the healthcare world is to not be so reactive. So this is proactive. It's designed to be that. I'm so grateful that it helps to offset some of the reactivity we have. And so truly, like, hopefully as you learn the science, right, that we become proactive and we want this before we need it. And I truly feel the same way about the business. In 2008 and 9, when I had some struggles financially, and I actually short-sold the whole house because of just stuff that happened, I didn't ever want to have that experience again. So again, having other options, right, to offset the things that you don't know are going to happen emotionally, physically, financially. And that's maybe one thing we don't talk about. This community, right now we have Dr. Brian here, who's a phenomenal pharmacist, right, both in the human world and the animal world, right? I would never be connected with individuals in these backgrounds. I knew a lot of chiropractors, but not a lot of vets and not a lot of, you know, DOs or pharmacists. And that we have this common goal, and we also are trying to help change the world in the process. So that's, as I say, let's be proactive. And once you understand the science, I think people, if they knew what we knew, they would take it, and you wouldn't be able to. The only way you would get it out of my hand is what I did, right? But that's only because of what we know. But if you want to behave better, have better activity, 14,000 peaks, right? 14,000, and you want to have better attitudes, which I know my wife would like that, right? Why not activate yourself?
Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you guys who just joined us, and I want to do an introduction, is Dr. Nancy Bryan. And Dr. Nancy Bryan, I believe right now is originally, you would normally find her also in Arizona, but I think she's out in Kentucky right now. Is that right? Fantastic.
You're muted, Nancy. You're muted.
So hold on, Nancy, I'm gonna have you unmute. Yeah, unmute. But you guys—
I was in North Carolina 5 hours ago, and now I'm in Kentucky. Yes, you can do this anywhere.
She's moving everywhere.
She's
I love
counting
it.
votes.
Yeah.
So you guys, let me do an introduction for Dr. Nancy Bryan, because it is so important. She, first and foremost, is the most amazing human being I think you'll ever find on the planet. but she is a compounding pharmacist. She's a biochemist. She is a formulator in both the human and animal field. And Nancy, I just can't tell you the number of people that she has helped in Arthur in My Life and literally all around the world. And so such an asset to have as a mentor on this today and as a part of LifeVantage as a company. So Nancy, everyone started and just kind of talked a little bit about themselves for a moment, and then maybe the most common question or two that you get asked.
Well, first and foremost, sorry that I was a little tardy, but I couldn't get on either. So my apologies, I got in here late, but this was really important because you know what? I think all of us are on here. We're all medical people. We all care about people and animals. And you know what? This really is one of the tools that we've found that makes such a significant difference. My background is being in pharmacy early on. I saw what was going on very early in my career, that medication wasn't enough. And to Brett's point, the being reactive, waiting till everything fell apart and then trying to make it come back again just doesn't work. And so for me in my field for the last 40 years, I have been dubbed the backward pharmacist because I started taking people off medications by helping them do things that allowed their bodies to be restored, better eating, all the different habits, exercising, breathing, all those things. And then when I came across this, really, truly, it was about finding a tool that was extraordinary. And I can't say it any better than what Lee said. And that is, you know what? Giving back the joy of life. I mean, really? Is there anything better than that, truly? Because you know what's happened through the last 20, 30, 40 years through my career? What I've seen is more and more people getting sicker and sicker earlier.
Yeah.
The longevity, maybe we're living a little bit longer, but the period of time that we're living healthy has really diminished. And everybody just wants that quick little answer. And I'll tell you what the answer is. The answer is balanced chemistry. You'll hear me talk about it all the time. And like Lee, you know what, many of the questions that I get all the time are, well, you know what, is it going to interfere with my medications? I get that all the time. I get that from all of you all the time. And you know what, and the answer is, cool. The best part about the whole thing is, for the most part, no. And we actually have even studies that show that. I'm so blessed that, you know, there was a point in time when you want to talk about having fun in your life on top of it. Melody and I were on a beach in the Bahamas. True, Dr. Adarte? We were on the beach and helping to develop a study to see what liver enzymes were impacted and what breakdown of medications were. That's the passion you see in the people here, is that, you know what we found out is that there's very few medications. Here and there, there's a couple of diabetic medications that for a teeny minute might have a little bit of too much overaction of that product for maybe a day or two, just because the liver is adjusting. But the bottom line is almost all the products don't react at all with other products because they're tiny amounts. They're based on operating pathways, not on trying to supplement, as Brett so eloquently put, to put huge doses in to change things. They're meant to turn on our own specific pathways. And so because of that, we don't have to worry that often about it. But most importantly, if there is such a thing as an interaction, if you will, it's because as your body starts to improve, guess what? You don't need the medications as much. So maybe you need dosage reductions, which is the whole perfect answer to this whole thing. So for me personally, I get super excited about it because it's helped me achieve what I've been trying to achieve for 40 years in a much easier manner, because we're helping the body to balance itself, and it does it way more effectively than we can ever do on our own, trying to figure out all those chemistries.
Wow, Nancy, so profound. Absolutely, you guys. And I think the bottom line is everyone wants to stay vibrant, healthy, positive, uplifting, to be our best self. And so I hope you guys are hearing from all these practitioners that we have a common goal, And what historically has been in our medical model wasn't getting us to that goal is what we really wanted. And I think everybody on this call would agree that we've seen friends younger and younger, or even to the speaking to about children, having more issues and more concern and more difficulty with energy and fatigue and vitality in their life. So if we can all have an answer for them, absolutely, you know, amazing. You guys, the next question I'm going to bring in, again, anyone would want to answer, please jump in. Brett touched upon this a little bit, but as practitioners, the majority of us trade time for money. And many people in life, the majority of people in life are all out there trading time for money. We are in a very different world today with people starting to look at other avenues of multiple streams of income. So why would you guys choose the company LifeVantage as developing another stream of income? I know it's been extremely beneficial in Arthur and my life, but maybe another one of you can answer that question.
I'll go.
All right. Awesome. All right, Nancy, you go, and then Melody, you're next.
Well, I just told you, I just drove 5 hours from North Carolina to Kentucky because I'm with one child and then another child, and I can do this wherever. Pharmacists can't do that. We're lucky if we get a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday off, and the hours today, and guess what they're doing now? Now they're the front line when people are sick with COVID. Who's the first person they go see? They're seeing the pharmacist. And for me personally, this was really about having a bigger impact more than anything. I can help so many more people than just those few people I was able to help that day. And that's what this really becomes, is really having the ability to have more freedom eventually to be able to do all those things and have the ability to really make a huge impact worldwide.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Bryan. And Dr. Darty, do you want to add to that a little bit?
Yeah, so when I came out of residency, I decided to go into internal medicine because I wanted to be an adult doctor. I enjoyed educating my patients. I didn't want to super specialize because I wanted to try to get to the problem before it became a problem, right? And I remember walking in my first day, I was so excited. I'm in a private practice, and my boss told me, "What are you going to do for cash flow?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I going to do for cash flow?" He said, "You're an internist. You will never make money being an internist in this medical world. So what are you going to do?" And so I became certified in hyperbaric medicine and wound care. And the truth was, one Saturday paid incredibly, but that was a Saturday away from my twins. They were like, what were they then? 4 years old. I didn't want to be missing more stuff, right? And then I thought, well, he was doing like stress treadmills and flex SIGs. That's kind of like the mini kind of colonoscopy that an internist can do. And I was like, hell no, I'm not doing those. And so I took up, did my medical aesthetics because I really do enjoy skincare. Okay. And so I was doing Botox. I started doing all that kind of stuff early. So having another stream of income was appealing to me because I always saw myself doing medicine. Okay. So fast forward till 6 years ago. Well, I wanted to start thinking about, how do I get my own practice? Because I wanted to, have my own practice. And my husband was getting ready to think about retiring. And so we were looking, okay, what's our other plan B, plan C? And so learning about this was incredible because thank God we started to dig that well, because at his 4-year mark, he did get to retire. And with this pandemic, and I decided to open my practice right this year during all of this, I had a beautiful check to come. And it's for what? Doing what I believe in, helping others, teaching others. Like this platform, I've been able to reach more people than I would in my practice, even by doing Saturday lectures on hypertension. I get 20 people, but they're not going to talk about how good of a lecturer I was about how to lower their blood pressure, but I talk to them about activators, and I get to teach and train and teach and train and teach and train. And I have no clue how many people have watched a video that we've done together. So that's amazing to me.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that. Absolutely.
Dr.
Lee, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. you know, one thing, if you don't think that I'm anti-aging, you can just look at me. Um, and go back to something that was asked before, and that is, you know, well, when can I start taking this? Well, I didn't, you know, I was in my late 60s when this was introduced to me, and that's when I started taking it. So you take it when you find out about it, and you take it for the rest of your life. And my only concern is that I wished I'd known about it a long, long time ago, because I would have taken it my entire life. But on the other side of that is the business aspects. So I'm going to feel better, and I'm going to be able to do more longer in my health span. My health span is going to be longer part of my life. So how am I going to fund that? You know, back at, you know, we went through a couple of crises in the last couple of decades that really trimmed my retirement fund down substantially. And I used to joke before I found out about LifeVantage is that, you know, I did lose a substantial portion of my retirement, and I had plenty of money to last the rest of my life. And I still do, I just won't be able to live near as long. But obviously now I feel like I am going to have a better, longer, healthy life. And I sure want to be able to enjoy that. I want to be able to enjoy it, have the resources to enjoy it, and to help other people in my family and friends that we, you know, have had the pleasure of helping in the past, plus all the other things that we enjoy supporting. So, you know, that's part of it there. You want to have the resources to enjoy your life.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to add Arthur, and then I'm going to give Arthur another question here.
Yeah. So I didn't understand the business at all. I really, when I was first introduced to it, all I knew of network marketing was the guy that invited me over for dinner, but wouldn't feed me until I agreed to be open-minded about something that he wouldn't tell me what I needed to be open-minded about. And I wouldn't be open-minded, so I didn't eat. So that's what I knew of network marketing, and I didn't like it. So it took me a little while to learn about this industry, and watching programs like The Rise of the Entrepreneur by Eric Worre was so eye-opening to me. But what really hit me hard about the business side of this was actually a discussion with my financial planner. And he said, you know, Arthur, the average American will require $2 million in retirement assets in order to be able to afford retirement. And obviously, as time goes on, inflation goes up, that number is going to get higher. But he said, for my age group, you know, we're looking at $2 million. And now at 52, I cannot claim 100% Social Security until I'm 72. Okay, because that age has already gone up for us. What was wild was then the next question, I said, okay, how do I save $2 million? And he tells me, well, you're going to have to invest $30,000 a year, averaging 8% return for 30 years in order to save $2 million. And then once you have that $2 million in the bank, if you're earning 3% interest on your $2 million, that will pay you $60,000 a year in interest income, or $5,000 a month. And I thought to myself, wow, because we started in this 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. So we were in our mid to late 40s, and we'd been working really hard for the 5 years before that, trying to put away this money to have a retirement nest egg. And what I realize is most of us in our 20s, you know, into our 30s, when we're really starting to raise families, maybe even into our 40s, we can't save $30,000 a year. We're lucky to save $3,000 a year. I mean, let's be honest, right? And by the time you're in your 50s and 60s, where maybe you can put away $30,000 a year, guess what? You don't got 30 years left to do it in. So, you know, what I realized about this industry, it's an incredibly powerful tool, right? Where you can create a leveraged asset. So like, you know, where most of us are in this company, right? We are built an asset that's paying us as if we have saved 2 million, $4 million, $10 million. Have any of us actually saved that? I don't mean to pry, but I'm willing to guess probably not. Okay, maybe Lee, I don't know. You know, maybe Nancy, I don't know. We haven't. But to be able to leverage our time with this business to be paid as if we have already saved that $2 million is huge.
Absolutely.
It's just huge.
Yep. Yep. Such an asset. So you guys, I have two other quick questions here and we'll kind of wrap things up. But the first one, you know, yes, everybody on here is, you know, wellness, healthcare, medical, but in this business, we also get the question talking to other people that, well, I'm not a doctor. I can't do this business. I'm not in healthcare. I'm not a physical therapist. So when people say that to you, what would be your responses? Because as Lee said, there's actually a very small percentage of people in our company that are medical. I think there's probably a bigger chunk that are wellness and fitness and things like that. But what would be your response to that? Anybody want to take that away?
I'll take it just a second because I was on a Elite call today, which Elite is the top ranks of the company. And I think there's about 150 of us on there, give or take. And here's the reality. I mean, I bet less than 5% are physicians. All right. So that makes like 90+% of them aren't physicians, right? That are in the top ranked. And so I would say it's actually you better chance of having success not being a physician because of the very thing that you asked, which is, you know, if I'm not a physician, I can't do this. But the reality is partner up with somebody, right? But the reality is physicians, we have the credibility. We have the credibility that the products are real. So one that introduced me to this, she said 3 things to me. So you got to believe in the product, which is super easy if you do the research. Like it's just, it is super credible. And you look at everything you're already taking and you realize that it doesn't even compare close to what this is from a credibility standpoint, just looking at PubMed and all that. And the second is a belief in the industry, a possibility that this industry can pay you, right? And people are getting paid every single day. And then the third is a belief about yourself. And that's where the rubber meets the road, because one of the things as clinicians we learn to be very independent studiers. We don't necessarily learn to collaborate well, and we don't learn to be vulnerable and truly show our vulnerability, which is really how we connect with people. And so grateful that network marketing come into my life to help me learn how to communicate better as a father and a husband, and learn how to help other people have success, because as a clinician, we always get to help people physically. That's really our main goal, but I never can help them with their finances. And what a unique gift that we have, that we can help people with their physicality. We can also help them with their finances. So just find out where your belief lacks. Is it the product? Is it yourself? Is it the industry? And then do your homework. And then just like with us, really all of us are on different groups and different teams. We're not really all underneath each other and how we work, but yeah, we hope that we can. I would love to have a lot more physicians that get the big picture. I come from a family of medical providers, orthopedic surgeons, chiropractors, dentists, massage therapists, physical therapists. And one thing that's common in our discussions is reimbursement is down. It's harder to get paid, right? So people are open to ideas. And I love what you said, Melody. Like it just fits my core values, right? That what we're doing is helping people. And so if it fits your values and you want to know how to do it, just lock arms with us, right? And let's help improve the world, because as we've all said, we can do what we can in our offices. Now, what if you could take this message right here and others could hear it, and you could be sleeping while they're listening to you, right? And it touches somebody's life, and you get a text later that day and said, the thing you said changed my life. That's the power of network marketing. That's the power of Zoom. That's the power of a mobile-based business tied to a product with phenomenal science, and individuals like this that really are willing to step outside the normal, because you don't want to be in the normal anymore. It ain't so good. And that's not good English, but it is reality. And I've learned that. I'm learning to embrace that, because, you know, I just watch my own kids. And if I don't do this, right, I don't want to miss out and trying to create something that could literally be a big part of their lives and help give them options that they wouldn't have otherwise. So not a little long, but that's kind of sums it up for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. You guys, I'm going to put one last question out there, and maybe Nancy, you can take it since you were kind of last jumping on and didn't get as many opportunities. But I will say to everybody listening, from anything from, you know, throughout my life, I've had communities. I've had communities of my sports. I've had communities of honor society and my sorority in college, and I've had communities of my, you know, girls groups, and I've had communities with my children and my children, all their parents. And I've had communities as a physical therapist. And I've never before experienced a community of people like this that are positive, uplifting, supporting each other at any level, at no benefit to them, because it's the type of people who we are. And so I feel like helping people is amazing and making money is amazing. We all need it. But especially in the world where we are right now, we're all not in communities that support each other and are positive and want each other to exceed and do well. Usually when I was working at the hospital, somebody was after my job, not wanting me to succeed and promote. So I just couldn't be more thankful for what I have in this community. And, you know, Nancy or somebody else, if you guys wanted to touch on that, I think for all of you out there that are listening, you're probably not knowing that you're looking for a community. I didn't think I was, but it certainly blessed my life along with everything else you guys have heard tonight. So Nancy, could you add to that?
Oh gosh, you know what? I think you summed it up beautifully, because you know what? I think that's what we all feel, is that, you know what? We all work really hard. We all have a lot of stresses in our life. But you know what? To have like-minded people be your friends and be there to support you. You know, you guys know a year and a half ago, I lost my husband in a really unexpected situation. And you know what? I cannot tell you how important it was to be in this community and to have the people surround you that are really quality people that really do care about you and that lift you up. And we all need more of that. And we all work hard enough. You know what? We all need some fun. If this isn't fun, I'm not doing it. I mean, we all need more of that. You want to talk about the joy of life, right, Lee? I mean, truly the community, this has been one of the more difficult things with 2020. We are all used to being together. This has been really difficult. And thank goodness for Zoom. That's helped a lot. It's not the same, but it's certainly a help. But you know what? It's really where we all get great ideas. You know what? We're all on the science board. And if you heard some of the things going on those calls, it's amazing. And to be able to have people from all different communities, you just get to hear it. It just expands your whole life in general. And that growing part that Brett talked about, that's a big part of this. You know what? It just helps you to grow and to be a better person. And one last thing that I want to put out there too, I can't think of a better thing to do to help be a visual for your children. I know that my kids have, you know, they laugh. They're always like, who are you and what have you done with our mother? You know, because you know what, 5 years ago I couldn't operate my cell phone, and now I'm teaching them Zoom, you know. So the bottom line is, you know what, it helps you to keep growing and have passion in your life, and that community to lift you up to have a purpose for it is just really helpful.
Wow. Anything else, Arthur, you want to add before we close?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to this beautiful woman over here for pulling this all together.
Yes.
You know, I am so honored and blessed to have each one of these panelists on here. I love each and every one of you, and I don't get to see any of you anywhere near as much as I wish we could right now. So thank you all for your time. You have each been so instrumental to Kelly and I at different stages of our journey, at different points in time. And to all of you guys who have joined us just listening in, as the participants, you know, thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of LifeVantage and what's going on, because we're truly building something absolutely amazing, incredible. And our progress may not be the most rapid in the world, but we are steady. We are the little engine that could. We are not giving up. We are keep pushing that boulder uphill, right? Eventually we'll get to the top and it will roll down the other side. But we have something truly, truly amazing here.
Yes. So you guys, as you've heard, we are pioneering something so special in this whole field of nutrigenomics and activation. And if you at all have more questions, please reach out to whoever to introduce this to you. I hope this gave you just a little glimpse of what's possible for you, for, you know, your life in helping people in your career in this community. And, you know, ultimately, let me just, you know, be the first to say, welcome to LifeVantage, and this family is yours to join. So all of you guys, thanks for your time so much tonight. Enjoy, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.